Peace, family. This video right here is about suicidal consciousness, okay? The science of self-destruction. Because there is a science to what the fuck is going on in this world today. On an individual scale and on a global scale, okay? AKA on a micro scale and on a macro scale. So that being said, let's break this down, right? So when we say, what is wrong with the world today? One word. Perspective. The world has an incorrect perspective on itself. Now let me give y'all an example, right? If you see somebody build, first of all, we all come from a divine architect, okay, that we call God, whatever the fuck you want to call it, supreme being, creator, okay? Now that being said, this is the intellect, which is so intricate, okay, because you have to think about the level of intellectual depth possessed by this force. So this force knew to make your fingernails a certain distance, and knew to make your heart have a certain amount of valves, and knew to put veins certain places, and knew to make your nervous system, you know, be a certain be configured a certain way, and knew to put certain biochemical response systems in your body that interact with you and keep you biologically safe. So you have to understand how intricate the human vehicle is that you drive. So when you in your car that's parked outside your, what you call a house, your motor vehicle, okay, then you feel like, you know, oh, this shit got V8 horsepower engine and Hemi and rah, 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 and you understand how good of a car you got due to the intricacies in regards to its manufacturing. But then we sit inside these bio vehicles or these vessels, okay, and we don't understand how intricate they are. You know, even the eyes, you know, the proportion of the eyes, you know, the diameter and the retina, you know, how it perfectly refracts light so that you can see, you know, the gums, the teeth. Who knew to put all of this shit into place? So this is the original form of art. This is the most beautifully designed creation ever that allows you to not only admire its beauty, but it becomes animate and you can actually exist in it as well. So that's like drawing a fucking, this is like drawing your favorite superhero and then actually making that vessel come to life and living inside of it. So with that being said, once you understand the science of how intelligent the creator is, you can understand right now the science of how I'm about to break down what I call suicidal consciousness. So the fact that you're not turned on to the science of oneness, and I've did plenty of videos on my channel that broke down oneness, so I'm not going to now. But that being said, the science of oneness as well as the science of true consciousness, okay, awareness, leads you to become suicidal. Now let me break this down. As I just went into the intricacies of this vessel, right? Imagine this is snowing and you make a snowman, right? So now the process of you making a snowman is symbolic to the process of the universe creating a bio vessel to express itself, right? So you make a snowman, then you make another snowman or a snow woman, whatever you are. If you're a female watching this, then imagine you're making a snow woman. So you make a snowman or a snow woman, whatever. Let's just say a snow entity. You make a snow person. We're going to say a person. You make a snow person, okay? And then you make another snow person, okay? And then this snow person builds an igloo, and this other snow person builds an igloo, and then they build a civilization of igloos, and then they master the science of the environment and how to live and ascend within the environment that we call wintertime. So that being said, these snow people are existing, right? But they all understand originally that they come from the same fabric, which is snow. But for us, that fabric is atoms, okay? So they understand that no matter how big of a snowman this one may be, how small of a snowman this one may be, how long of a stick arm this snowman may have, and how short of a stick arm that snowman may have. They understand that they all come from the same fabric of creation. But then one fucking day, some stupid ass snow nigga decides to create religion. And they decide to create money. And they decide to create politics. And now this snowman thinks that his God is better than that snowman. And this snowman thinks that his law is better than that snowman. And his igloo is more important than that snowman. And then this snow nigga believes that he's worth more than that snowman. And what happens is, all of these motherfucking snow niggas that we've now created become consciously suicidal. Because they no longer understand that they are all actually different manifestations of the same consciousness. So that being said, instead of seeing I'm a snow person, you're a snow person, just different variations of snow, aka I'm a human, you're a human, or an organism, being planet, animal, anything in between, different manifestations of atoms, we see ourselves as individuals. And now why is this important? Now we begin to create egotistical conglomerates around what we call individualism. And now we fight off anything that goes against our ideology of how we exist. So then we become what we call fractal dissensionals. Okay? Fragments of destruction. And we're breaking consciousness into smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller pieces until one day it's going to be so goddamn small that we can't even perceive what consciousness is anymore. Hence, where the world is going today. So with that being said, the world is suffering from suicidal consciousness. Nobody understands the one simple truth because we've created so many egotistical personal truths that's really fucking lies that we've become suicidal in the way it is we believe to be spiritual. So now we believe that we have to destroy in order to build. Some of you dumb motherfuckers believe that from chaos comes order. But if I come burn your fucking house down and cause chaos, what order do you get? Some of you niggas actually think, you know, opposites attract. Because you don't take a second to think and say, wait a minute, that's not true. Because I've never hung with a nigga who I don't agree. I've never hung with a pedophile, ever. Because I'm the opposite of that. So with that being said, what we have to understand is consciousness on this world has lost its initial understanding. And that understanding has been replaced with the misunderstandings of a snow nigga. So one day a snowman burnt down a snow igloo and he said, you know what? I just burnt down this snowman's house and I shot that snowman and took his land. No, you didn't. All you did was reinvent. Because we're not going to say destroy. You can't destroy energy. But to keep it on a normal person's understanding. All you did was destroy another aspect of yourself, which is snow. You destroyed another aspect of yourself, which was a snow person. And then you transgressed on land that you think belongs to you, but really is just another extension of you, which is land that is covered by snow. So all you did was become an illusional and delusional ass snow nigga instead of being one with all the snow. So when we look at life today, a motherfucker says, this is my territory. How? You are the territory. All of the world is all of our territory. I'm going to burn your house down and destroy your village. How? You're made up of the same chemical substances and fabrics of the village you're destroying. And I'm going to kill these people and take their land. How? Anatomically, you're made up of the same substance of these people. Genetically, we are different. There are hybrid people on this planet and extraterrestrials on this planet. So we're not going to get that shit twisted. But for latter terms and for simple-minded people viewing this video who need a basic understanding of, you know, the original blueprint of how to think, we're all one. So with that being said, what we have to understand is everybody is suffering from the same conscious, illusional, misunderstanding as the allegorical snow person I've created in this analogy. So that being said, the world has become suicidal consciously. Okay, and I call it suicidal consciousness. And until we return to that original form of thought, you're going to continue to see what I call consciousness fractal destruction. So that being said, consciousness was one line, and then you niggas had a retarded ass egotistical thought, and you broke it into a fraction. And then now you create more stupid shit, and you just causing fractions and fractions and fractions. It's like in a bone. You don't gotta snap the bone in half, but you can fracture that motherfucker. And consciousness is just fracture, and you niggas just keep fracturing it and fracturing it and fracturing it and fracturing it, and you're never allowing the bone to heal and become strong again because the fractures are being created by your ego. So money is a fracture. Motherfucking politics is a fracture. Okay, religion is a fracture. Okay, and when we talking about the matrix, because the matrix is what? Etymologically, it just means womb. The womb is what? The universe. The cosmic womb is the original womb. And when you study sacred geometry, the first womb ever created in all of mathematical fucking history, since math is the language of the universe, is when two circles, intercede into one another, forming what is called the vesica piscis. And that's when you see in math class or English class, you draw the circle in a circle, and then the two middles, intertwine with each other, and your teacher tell you put the good on this side, put the bad on this side, and put what's similar in the middle. But actually, that is a cosmic womb, which is symbolic to electricity and magnetism, which comes together to form light. So once again, in the Bible, which is allegorical, is based off astrology, it's not literal. When it says on a second day of creation, remember, second day, two circles, vesica piscis, second stage of the flower of life, it says what? And God said, let there be light. Now, God is the sun. The Holy Bible means Helios, Biblios in Greek. Helios means sun, Biblios means book. The Bible is about God. Psalms 84:11 says, our Lord God is a sun and shield. So the Bible tells you that God is a sun. So when it says God said, let there be light, The first level of light is the radio wave spectrum. Radio, by definition, is electronic signals carrying sound messages. So it was talking about the sun developing into physical reality, which is the second stage of the creation day story in the Bible, which is based off astrology and sacred geometry, and is also the second stage into physical reality according to the blueprint of the flower of life that we know as the Visa Capiscus. And the circle over here is electricity, the circle over here is magnetism, and the part of the inner joined circle that's being created by the womb is light. So that being said, this is why they say light comes from darkness. When you're pregnant by your mother, you're in a dark womb and you're born into the light. Same the science with the universe, as above, so below. So since you niggas don't stand that, okay, and y'all don't understand anything about anything, now here we are dealing with fragmented consciousness. So now niggas keep breaking shit off. And coming back to my original point, dealing with money, politics, and religion, and we're talking about the Matrix. Now we're talking about the Matrix, right, is consciousness, okay, to keep it short, because I can do a whole nother video on that in itself. And when we were talking about the movie The Matrix, the hero was Neo, okay, which is short for neo-mammalian part of the brain, which deals with higher levels of consciousness and delta wave frequencies. He fell in love with Trinity, which is mind, body, and spirit, aka oneness, okay? And he was woke up by Morpheus. Morpheus is a Greek word for sleep, and when you're asleep, your brain goes into the delta state. And people who channel spirits, brain scans has proven that you channel spirits only when you access the delta state of the brain. You become a Buddhist monk when you access the delta state of the brain. So the delta state of the brain is used for hyperkinetic and psychic abilities. So that being said, we're coming back to the movie Matrix. All of the three agents, including Agent Smith in the movie, was symbolic to money, politics, and religion. Now, when Neo was in the Matrix, aka disconnected from higher levels of consciousness, he was living in a dull state of reality. So you have the reptilian brain, which deals with your physical self, and then you have the mammalian brain, which deals with your emotional stuff, and then you have the neo-mammalian, which deals with your intellectual and spiritual self. So the neo-mammalian is the highest level of your brain, right? And when Neo was asleep, he was in the Matrix. And then Morpheus, which means sleep, aka the delta state, came to awaken him to the Matrix, okay, aka the vortex womb of conscious frequency. What happened? He awakened into his ability to understand that this shit is not real and it only can harm me if I believe it can. This was symbolic to when they shot at him and he stopped the bullets. The bullets were symbolic to all of the many different obstacles in life that we believe are coming at us, but we have the power to not only not dodge them, but choose to not even inherit the frequency of we believe what is called being affected by an outside source. So with that being said, money, politics, and religion no longer had an effect on Neo because he had consciously risen above it. And once he reached this conscious state, he fell in love with Trinity, which is symbolic to mind, body, and soul, aka union. And that was symbolic to balancing the left and right hemispheres of the brain, because the left hemisphere of the brain is masculine, which is analytical, and the right hemisphere of the brain is controlled by feminine energy, which is intuitive and creational. So that being said, the fact that Trinity was depicted as a female was symbolic to the balancing and the merging of the left and right hemispheres of the brain, and even the name Neo itself was short for neo-mammalian. And that movie was written by a black woman, and her whole story was Jack. So I just want to put that out there extra, because we want people to understand that black people always understood the science of ourselves as just being oppressed and stolen from us constantly. But bringing that back to ourselves, because we think the fucking movie is the Matrix is just a movie, and we think that, you know, consciousness is a joke and it's something that should be played with, or you can read a book and magically become conscious. We don't understand the self-destructional patterns that we create even by having a misperception of consciousness. So you can read a fucking book and say, this book made me dislike this person, and all you're doing is creating another fracture in consciousness, thinking that you're actually becoming conscious. So that being said, we have to understand the science of self-destruction, because there is a science to it. And the science to it is you niggas no longer understand that you are connected with the snow, because you think that you an individual snow nigga and you was made by Jesus Christ. So think about this. What if snow, man, said, I wasn't created from snow. I'm not made up of snow. Jesus Christ made me from, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and Jesus Christ looks like fire. What? If that sounds stupid, that's how stupid a religious person looks. Okay? You was made by electricity and magnetism, aka thought wave frequency, being conveyed by the first layer of sound, which is radio modulation. And those radio modulations actually calculatively and precisely and intellectually control and formulate atoms to create organisms. The planet is an organism. Vegetation is an organism. Animals, insects, etc. are organisms. You are an organism biologically, but you're a consciousness that permeates this organism and steers it intellectually and spiritually. So that being said, since y'all all fucking forgot that, here we go down the roller coaster ride of consciousness. So with that being said, we keep breaking fractions. Fractions. I'm a blood. I'm a crip. Fraction. Fraction. I'm a police. Fraction. I'm this government. Fraction. I'm this nation. Fraction. This is what I believe. My religion. Fraction. I'm better than you. Fraction. You're stupid because you look like this. Fraction. 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 All y'all niggas is doing is creating mythological fractions and ideologies in consciousness. And then you talking about your way is supposed to make the world better. No, motherfucker. How about your way is making the bitch worse? No matter how positive it is to you, it's negative to the true you. Because the you that you are is not really you. You're living in an egotistical, non-existent concept of a motherfucker who never was here in the first place. So that being said, if you're a gang member and your name is Murder, and you're a member of this gang, first of all, there's no such person named Murder. You're making that up. English is not your native language, so you can't never be something associated with the English title, for one. Then for two, there's no such thing as your gang. That shit only exists in your mind, and you made it up, and you made up the rules, and you follow some shit according to your own mind. So according to what you believe works for you, but it has nothing to do with the all in all that was already here. Same thing for laws. If they raise the fucking taxes tomorrow, or they raise the goddamn speed limit, that has nothing to do with nature. That has nothing to do with the rate that trees grow. It has nothing to do with the true laws that was already set in place before you motherfucking came and created your artificial assimilation that you like to live in. So that being said, we have to understand the differentiation between reality and actuality. So reality is what was, what is, and what always will be. But actuality is what is for you. And it is an actual fact that you are out your motherfucking mind and you're making shit up according to the egotistical person that you believe you are, and you're creating fractures in what is really reality. So that being said, water is water. Water is water. If I go, and we know that they contaminate in the water, so we're not gonna, we're not gonna ignore that, but to act like they're not contaminating the water, right? Let's say if I go to this lake, and I go to that lake. So I go to Lake A and I go to Lake B. And I scoop buckets of water out of both, right? A conscious person will say, hey, these are two different buckets filled with the same water. But then an unconscious person will say, my bucket of water is better than your bucket of water because my shit red and your shit blue. See? See how that works? So now we're creating fractions in motherfucking consciousness due to egotistical ideologies and standards. So we live in a world where we'll say, hey, my country is better than your country because we're full of lies and we're full of shit and all we do is contaminate our public. But then you don't subscribe to our bullshit, so we think we're better than you. Then we live in another country where, then people live in another country where they say we got our own bullshit going on and we're doing fuck shit, but we think we're better than you because we don't do fuck shit to the level that you do fuck shit, America. So here we go, creating fractions in consciousness. And then from those fractions, guess what we create? Borders. So the people who actually are paying the governments to help them are paying now, have become to pay for their own oppression, because the governments have got so egotistically big that now if I want to go to another country, I can't because your country don't trust my motherfucking country, which I have nothing to do with because I don't even pass any fucking laws. I'm subjected to the same laws that I'm paying taxes to help me. So if I want to go see a beautiful part of the world, I can't because y'all both have created fractions in consciousness. What are those fractions? Y'all both don't understand that we all are a part of this fucking world and that we all are biologically and organically manifested from this world. And since you don't understand that, you believe that you come from some specific creator that favored your punk ass and that this part of the world is specifically yours, and I no longer have a right to visit it when I please, and I'm not trying to do any harm to the land. All I'm trying to do is have a full human experience with an extension of myself in another form and variation. So with that being said, here we go. Suicidal consciousness. And with that being said, the question is, will the world continue to kill itself and destroy itself? Because that which is internal manifests externally. And clearly we see the world is fucked up because the world inside your motherfucking self is fucked up. So will the world continue to be suicidal, or will the world become conscious and delete all artificial labels and concepts in order to return to the original vibration? Will the snowman or the snow nigga return to being a snowman and stop destroying the snow, thinking that he's destroying something other than his own self? And with that being said, family, think about it. Love y'all. Peace. Peace, family. Welcome to YoungPharaoh.net. Subscribe now for exclusive access to me and all of my content for things such as lectures, Pharaoh Universities, children's videos, radio interviews, behind the scenes and documentaries, and much more. Be sure to subscribe now, family. Also, don't forget the internet YouTube promo code, which is YouTubeYP. Internet for a discount off your subscription. So with that being said, family, you get exclusive access to me and all my work. And as I continue to grow, I want y'all to grow with me. So with that being said, family, YoungPharaoh.net, subscribe now. Also follow me on social media, family. Instagram at Pharaoh_Allah, Twitter at Pharaoh_Allah, Facebook at Young Pharaoh, and subscribe now to my YouTube channel at Young Pharaoh. And with that being said, family, I'll see y'all in the classroom. Peace.